Hello everybody, so today is Wednesday, May 9th, and I know this will not go up on Wednesday, May 9th. It'll probably go up on Thursday, May 10th. But today at my school we had this interesting demonstration done, and I kind of want to talk about it because it's very prevalent in today's society. So our regional police and like the EMS and all the firefighters, they came in and they did a mock car crash at our school, and it was like they didn't show the actual car crash, they just showed the aftermath and what happens after. And so the premise of it was somebody was under the influence of alcohol. They had a little bit too much in their system and they crashed, and then they actually showed it as if it were a real scene. So they had the police come in, full sirens, fire trucks came, ambulance came. They had 4 main actors, and I know them, I know a couple of them, and they had 4, so one was a bystander, one was a driver, the passenger, and the other passenger who was in the back. And what they did was the driver was still alive, and so when the bystander saw him and the police were coming, he started running. And then the police officers came and they chased him down with a dog. And it was all fake, yes, so it's not going to go on his record or anything. But it's realistic in a sense that this does actually happen like every day or close to every day. And it was, I'm not going to say it was life-changing. I haven't seen anything like it before, but it's not like as if I'm not going to see it again. The main girl, there's only one girl, she was the passenger in the backseat. She was supposedly dead, and so when you walked out, because our entire school was called to the front, where the thing was, and she had her arm draped out the window, covered in blood, with like fake blood dripping down her face, and it was all fake. It was all makeup, and it was all pre-set up. And then when the EMS people came, they took her out and put her in like underneath a tarp. And then a hearse came and took her away in that. She said it was kind of creepy afterwards. But then we had like an assembly afterwards talking about everything that we saw. So that how it actually happens, what goes on, and then a couple of videos and a big awareness presentation presenting to our entire school that texting and driving, as well as drinking and driving and doing drugs and driving, are not something that you should be doing. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have had a mock crash either at your school or you've seen a real accident happen. It is definitely life-changing because there's people who do end up dying rather than people who are pretending to be dead in this situation. It was strange because everybody was talking, they were all texting, they weren't taking it seriously because they knew it was a mock crash. And I knew about it in advance because the class that was planning it, like the 4 people who were acting, who were the students in it, because it was students who were actually the 4 people involved. They were the 4 actors. I was in that class when they first heard about it and when they were planning it, because I want to say I'm friends with the teacher. No, but it's the drama class, and I was helping her out with some musical stuff that day, and I heard about it. And I didn't think that they were going to tell, well, all the teachers obviously would know, but I didn't think that they were going to tell the students. But they ended up sending a phone call home to all the parents so that their parents would be okay with it and they wouldn't worry. But then all the kids found out. And personally, I would have, like, there's a sense where that would be okay, but another sense where you'd want to really sink in that feeling that this is actually happening, that this happens every day, but not traumatizing everybody. I guess that's why they told everybody. But right before like the actual event happened, our vice principal came on the loudspeaker and said, everybody's gonna go outside now for the mock crash. And we're like, what? Why would you do that? It was interesting. We saw a lot of stuff that you normally don't get to see on the television movies. So how they take people out of vehicles. We saw them, the firefighters, completely destroy the car. It was this little silver car. I'm sorry, I do not know cars, but they were all inside of it, and it was already, when my dad dropped us off to school, it was already there, and it was by this tree that hangs over, because the tree actually does hang over, but the car was already there, and you can already see that it was crashed up, but they completely destroyed it. They took off 3 of the doors, they sawed open the windshield, which I thought was so cool. So they took this knife and they stuck it into the windshield, and almost like a pizza cutter or something, they just like went all the way around and they flopped it over onto the hood of the car, and like it didn't break, it was all one piece, it was just all cracked. That was kind of cool. I think that was my favorite part, if you can have a favorite part of a mock crash. and then they took off like the roof, I'm pretty sure, as I said, with the jaws of life, and then they had these other like clamps of life, which I thought was kind of cool too. So then they like just tossed it over like it weighed nothing, although I bet you it weighs a hefty penny. And then the one guy, they had to take him and they brought him off on like a stretcher and put him to an ambulance and then drove away. And they had a tow truck come pull up, and we didn't get to see them take away the car. They were hired to take away the car after the crash happened. And then a hearse came and they took away the girl who was supposedly dead, but everybody knew that she was still alive. And I guess it kind of sunk in that things like this do happen every day, and we shouldn't take our life for granted. But when we do see stuff like this, we should at least try to help. Either call 911. Oh, and by the way, all the neighbors around our school, they were all alerted that this was happening. They sent out flyers and they called like all of their houses and went door to door, making sure that they didn't call the police and that they were aware that this was happening today. And so as I was saying, we had like an assembly afterwards. It was like, I mean, the videos that they played, everybody's seen them before, because we always, like every year, we have one of these assemblies, and last year they played the exact same videos last year as they did this year. And I mean, it doesn't necessarily take away the sense that we shouldn't be doing this, but it does add a cheesiness level, if you know what I mean. Like, if you want to grab somebody's attention, don't play like 3,000 videos at once, because everybody, I don't know, they keep on repeating them, and I've seen these videos numerous times, and it's just kind of getting old, and I understand the message, but by playing all this stuff that I know, why repeat it with like old facts, you know? They did have some interesting facts about like insurance and what an entire trial would cost if you had an incident, and they said it's like $33,000 if you're caught with, what was it? I think it's drinking and driving and you get into a small collision, I believe, or you're driving 50 kilometers over the speed limit. One of the two. It's something like that, but it was $33,000 just for that. And if you're 19 years old and you're male, and they said if you're a female, it's 30% lower than that. So you do the math. I really can't right now. It's past 10 o'clock, and I'm about to go to bed, but the entire process of this day, I was kind of excited for it, so I guess I was one of the ones who was like, oh, look at this is happening now, whoa, this is kind of cool, but sad and morbid at the exact same time. Yeah, so, I don't know, I just kind of wanted to tell you guys what happened, and, well, I mean, it's not really anything bad. I just wanted to express my thoughts of mock crashes and the way that the people and the government are trying to drive home different messages to the students across all of Canada. And I know in different provinces and territories it will be different. In every school and every single district it will be a different message, and it will be done a little bit differently. But to some degree I think that some of the messaging needs to be changed, because I don't think it struck a nerve with all of the people who would actually be, like, I mean, obviously everybody might get into an accident, but the people who would put themselves into the danger with the drinking and the driving, or doing the drugs and then driving, or just being stupid enough to text or drive, the people who are addicted to their phones, those people, I do not think that they got the message. I do not think they got that message today. Even though there was a mock crash and they saw their friends being pulled off in hearse and ambulances, I do not think that they got that message today. So I think that the districts and the people in your region, all the police and all those people, I think they need to do a better job of trying to drive home that message, whether it be, I don't know, partake a little bit more in the school life and have them come in regularly. I know at my school, pretty much once a month they have drug dogs come in, and I mean, for me, personally, it's totally not a big deal because I don't do that, but I think it's needed in every single school. They need to do that at least once a month. That way, the school is a safer place for everybody, and you can just go there to learn, because that's what school is all about. The last thing I wanted to get in before I finish this video and go off to bed is, during the end of the assembly, the officer that was presenting the entire kind of like assembly to us called in the girl who was killed and taken off in a hearse, and so she walked up on stage, and then he told everybody who knows the girl, who's a friend of this girl who either a best friend, a cousin, family member, or anything to stand up, and almost half of our auditorium stood up, and that's over 250 people who stood up. And I was one of them, and there was a lot of people because she was in the musical that I just did, and it was pretty sad. So please consider next time you text and drive, next time you decide to drink, then go driving afterwards, and please think about doing the drugs and then driving, because you're putting other people's lives at risk as well as your own. And yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. If you have experienced a mock crash, please tell me. I want to know what your personal opinions are. And if you haven't, well then, I don't know how to explain it. I took a couple pictures. I might post them up on my Twitter, or my Tumblr. Actually, no, I don't have a Tumblr. Oh well, something. I'll put it up somewhere, and I'll leave links below or annotate it somewhere. So anyways, I hope you guys have a great evening, and I hope what I said either affects you or relays a message to you in some way. So I will see you in my next video. Have a great night. Bye.